You know, some say acting is lying, and who lies better than tonight's guest? You know him from Saturday Night Live, countless films. His latest is High School High. Please welcome good friend Jon Lovitz. Johnny. What's up, big job? Oh. Don't worry, it's cable.
How you
doing, big guy?
Fine. You? So I saw Dane on the show. He was all excited he could cuss. So I'd like to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Poop. Fucking poop.
You're a saucy little wench, aren't you? Give me some Master Thespian. I haven't heard it in years. I miss it.
Oh, all right. Well, this is the first thing I wrote. It's him, like, you know, a guy thinking he's the greatest actor in the world.
Like you don't.
Well, it's based on a side of me. And then there was the time when I had the keen insight to realize that Shylock should be played as a Dane and Hamlet as a Hebrew. The theatrical community of London was so dumbfounded by what is now a well-known fact that they begged me to perform my version of the melancholy Jew before the Queen herself. Now, are you really laughing, or are you acting?
Acting. Now, the thing...
Well, let me say you're really good. Well, of course you're acting.
What about the first time we met? Do you remember that? We were flying in for Saturday Night Live auditions, and I'm sitting next to you on the plane.
And you had a hat on, a baseball hat, and I remember thinking, oh, he must be bald.
Wow. Talk about projection.
Yeah.
And and I remember I'm sitting there with it. I say, I'm so nervous. And I go, John, and Damon Wayans was on the other side of us. Yeah. And I said, John, what do you do? And you said, I have this character called the Liar, and he just lies all the time. And I'm sitting there thinking, chalk this loser up. He's not getting my job, you know? And then when you first did it, I finally got the genius of it when you came up to me and you told me, I introduced him as Tommy Flanagan. Yes, and I remember you came up to me and said, his name's not Flanagan, it's Flanagan.
Flanagan.
That made me laugh so hard that he couldn't even tell his own fucking name without lying.
Well, it's one of those things. There's an inside joke between a friend of mine and I who I wish now was dead. And you know.
What is that?
I can't, you know who. I can't go on. And then it just got huge.
No, I want to see you have a breakdown on television.
God. But it was amazing. Then everyone's, you know, doing it. And then Dennis wanted me to go. Change. He goes, don't say, yeah, that's the ticket anymore. Say, yeah, that's the angle.
Is that what I said?
Yes, you said that.
I'm such a loser, man.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I just wanted to subvert you from getting the show, so I thought I'd screw.
Well, originally, though, I was hired, you know, to do Update.
Yeah, you were going to do the news.
And then a week later, they hired you to do it.
Yeah, I want to thank you for botching it so horribly.
You're welcome.
Now, you were always, I thought, the most trained actor we had there. You and Phil seemed to have some chops. Like everybody had their skills, but you and Phil, do you have formal training? And if so, what were some of the most like uncomfortable exercises they used to put you through when you were learning how to act?
I went to did plays in high school. And I was a drama major at UC Irvine, and it was great. All my professors were from Yale, and everything was great. But sometimes we had to do these exercises where, you know, they'd say, like, you know, okay, be a lima bean and grow, you know, and that stuff I hated. I hated it, and I go, when am I going to play a lima bean, you know, or be a rock, you know, or it's just, and I always found that stuff ridiculous. And really, it's like you said, acting, it's just pretending to the nth degree, and all these ways of doing it, all the methods they teach and everything are just ways to help you pretend better. And really,
yeah, when they say stuff like be a lima bean, it's just a jerk off, right? It's never going to help you.
I think so. I don't think it does anything. I mean, some people are really good at it, but I don't know any of them that are working. I haven't met one that's like, yeah, you were great, you know, as that tulip. It's like, well, I'm going to play a person, you know.
Well, the tulip's in porn now. Now, do you remember any audition stories that were nightmares? I always had the worst trouble with auditions. That scared the hell out of me.
Well, the one was I auditioned for a movie, and the casting director brought me in. She was a friend of mine, or she was very friendly to me, and so she brought me in, and I read the whatever, she's a friend. I mean, she's a friend now. So anyway, she brought me in. I read for the director, and then she said, you know, could John read again? Because she goes, John, you really didn't read that good. I know you could do a lot better. And the director looks at her right in front of me and says, well, what the fuck am I gonna say? No, he's sitting right here. So then I said, well, that's nice. So then he said, all right, well, read it again. Now, do you know that commercial, you can hear it on radio? I said, no. He goes, well, do it like that. And, you know, and then he ended up getting fired. I ended up getting the movie after I got Saturday Night Live. A year later, I ran into him. He said, oh, they said, this is so-and-so. I go, oh, hi, nice to meet you. He goes, oh, hi, I'm a big fan of yours. I go, well, we met, you know, I auditioned for you about a year ago for this movie. He goes, oh, which part? And I told him. He goes, oh, you'd have been great in that part. So that's just kind of how everyone's kind of...
But everybody has those horror stories. I mean,
it wasn't that bad. I mean, I
thought it was gonna be more
the way I finally
brutal
got
than that.
jobs was, no, I finally, the first job I got was the paper chase the second year on cable. And I went 3 times and I didn't get it. Another guy did, and he did 2 shows, quit, and they called me back. So now I wasn't nervous anymore. It was just getting ridiculous to me. And I go, well, now what am I going to do, or how am I going to play the character? So I just said, well, I'm just going to do what I myself would do in the situation. And that's what I did. And then at the end of the job, the director said, well, you both read very well. And I read with the producer, and I said, well, yeah, but only one of us had the job, you know. And they laughed, and I got it. And now when I audition, I audition, and they go, okay, that was very good. I go, well, think about it and let me know. I'm a busy man, you know. I'll consider you. But the worst is auditioning for first-time directors. They want you to read for them. You're like, well, what have you done? Nothing. Well, I've done, like, you know, 25 years and 17 films. And it's crazy. Now, I can't get parts because I'm too well-known.
Jesus, are you an egotist?
It's true.
I've got a phone call. Will you take it, or do you only
yeah.
speak in tongues nowadays?
You get more jobs than me in films.
I do the same thing, though. I go
but
in,
you play yourself, but that's, you know.
I say I'm the worst reader in the world. If you want me to do the film, I'll do it, but don't make me read, because we'll all walk out of here like some bad sexual
But we would do, I
experience
remember, we used to do improvs on Saturday Night Live, and we did one.
Oh, that
Dennis
was
really good.
fun for me.
And then one
Nothing
time
I like
we
more
were
than
doing one,
improving.
and Dennis just he threw a chair at me and started like wrestling with me.
I was so lame. I was so in over my head when we had that.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying. But then you did one with Nitra. You were a good actor, I thought. You could act.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Now we've got a...
like I said, if you can do it.
We've got a phone call. Line 6, we've got Alex from the Broadway of the Midwest, Moline, Illinois. Al?
Yeah?
What's happening out there?
Nothing much.
Al doing Bent in Summerstock out there in Moline with Sam Harris from Star Search. Go ahead. What's your question?
Do you think that stage actors, screen actors, or politicians generally do the best acting?
I would say politicians, or anyone has to do it for real.
Look, they should just give Clinton the Irving Thalberg Award right now, because he's the man.
Yeah,
huh?
I remember when he was running, though, and I just remember thinking he's completely full of shit. And God, you can say anything.
You're whispering so he didn't hear it?
He's completely full of shit.
Said you're full of shit, Bill.
No, not it. Yeah, Clinton.
You. I know you're watching. You're in your undies with some donut holes. You seem like an all right guy, but even you know you're full of shit.
But that's what's hard about, that's what's hard about film acting, because the camera, it picks up everything. So it picks up everything true and picks up everything false. So I'd watch him, and it was just so obvious. He just had that fake smile. Hi, how are you? It's like, hello. I mean, it was obvious. To me. To you?
Line 3, we've got Alicia from Charlotte, North Carolina. Alicia?
Yes. Good evening. Listen, Dennis and John, I wanted to ask you a question. If both of you were given a choice that you could only do one more role in your entire career, what would that be?
Porno.
From Universal, Jon Lovitz is Lawrence of Arabia.
And what would you do, Dennis?
No. Jon Lovitz in Lickety Clit. It's your show.
I know you. It would be Jon Lovitz and Sorest Rump.
No, it'd be Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller in rear deliveries.
I gotta do the news. Jon Lovitz, ladies and gentlemen.